Hello, my name is Jnanesvari and I'm a member of the Triratna Buddhist order, and I wanted to talk about challenges. Why? Because we have a worldwide challenging situation right now with the coronavirus. Some people have lost their lives, some people are very sick, some people have lost their jobs. The world situation is in flux, and a great many people will find these challenging times. So the idea of this thought for the day is to try and help people find some resources, if it's at all possible for me to do that. So the first thing is, when we are in this situation, a challenging situation, in Buddhist terms, this is often called the cremation ground. So cremation grounds were places where practitioners used to go and sometimes provoke a meeting with a difficult situation for spiritual progress. Sometimes the cremation ground just happens to us, it just manifests. We don't really get much of a choice or much of a say, and we get propelled into some kind of difficult situation or another. So in this case, maybe you are afraid for your livelihood, maybe you're scared for your health, maybe you're isolated and that's bringing up a lot of pain, emotionally, mentally. There are all kinds of situations that people might be encountering right now that are provoking suffering. So from a Buddhist point of view, being in a situation of suffering is also an opportunity. Of course, we don't wish for people to suffer. Sometimes, the people that we love, we want them to never suffer. We want them to be happy all the time, always, as though that was very possible. But here we are, it happens. It's part of the human condition, it's part of the unenlightened condition that we have suffering. So when it happens, the good thing to remember is that it's the beginning of an upward spiral. Suffering is the beginning. After suffering comes faith, and after suffering can come development, in particular spiritual development. So there is an opportunity to recognize this opportunity right now if you're suffering. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is, it's challenging when we are in a cremation ground. So if you want to imagine a cremation ground, you can imagine a cremation ground as a place where if you are a meditator, you can sit in it and see what image is conjured up for you, in what kind of a place you are. So you imagine that place. So maybe you're sitting, just to give it an image, maybe you're sitting in the middle of a cemetery and your guts are spilling, and maybe there are some strange creatures around you. It's just an image. That's the one that comes up for me sometimes. But maybe for you it will be a different landscape. But in any case, if we are in the cremation ground, the first thing that it is challenging is there is suffering. There is suffering. So what is my view of what happiness is? I was happy and suddenly I'm here. What was my happiness dependent on? And sometimes our happiness is dependent on our job. We invest a lot in our job. We invest a lot in maybe a particular relationship. Maybe we've taken our health for granted. Maybe we've taken society for granted. All these things. So the first thing is, what do we term happy? And is it really so? And can we imagine a different kind of happiness? Can we imagine, and that's the first stage of coping. If we've lost a job and all our happiness was in that job because we were so invested, well, the first thing to retrieve some happiness is to reduce some of that investment and take a look a little bit deeper at the causes of happiness in ourselves. And that can yield a lot of fruit. Then the next thing when we find ourselves in the cremation ground is it's asking of us to find additional resources. So think more deeply. Look at the causes of happiness is a way of finding a little bit more resource. But there are other ways. So what resources can we find in ourselves to deal with this new situation? What resources, how can we stretch to adapt, particularly spiritually adapt to this new situation?